It's a normal Sunday like anything else. You go into the building, you're talking with your friends, you're a young girl between the ages of 17 and 19, and all of a sudden a woman from one of the buildings comes over to you and says that the church leader wants to talk to you. In that moment, your heart races, your stomach drops. You know what this is about, but you don't know what the conversation is going to be like. And you dread going into his office because his office is soundproof. The idea is so that people walking by the office won't hear the conversation of what's happening inside the office, of the people that are talking inside the office. But that also means that no one can hear you cry for help. No one can hear your tears. No one can hear you screaming for help. So you walk in and you shut the door. And the church leader's standing there, and he's an older man, old enough to be your father. And he's standing over you, towering over you. And he's asking you all of these intrusive questions, telling you that he knows what you did. And all you have to do is be repentant and be truthful and tell him all the details of what happened in every single graphic detail. Questions that no one should be asking anyone, much less an older man should be asking a young girl. And yet they're being asked. And you don't want to answer those questions because really it's none of his business, but he threatens you. And he says, if you don't tell me, then everybody in the church is going to know what you did. And I'm going to have no choice but to tell your college, because your college is also connected to the church. And if the college found out that you've done this thing, they're going to take away your scholarship. So you need to tell me everything that happened. You need to tell me everything you did. You need to answer all of my questions. And if you do that, I won't tell the school. It'll just be our little secret, just between us. So you relent. You tell him everything he wants to know. He tells you that what you did was second to murder because your actions have led to the death of the eternal soul of another person. But then he hands you a book and he says, I want you to go home and I want you to read this. It'll bring you closer to being forgiven and make you realize the way forward to true repentance. And so in an effort to never feel this way again, to never feel this shame, this guilt, this loneliness, this depression again, you go home and you start reading. And line by line, paragraph by paragraph, you're not getting a sense of relief. You're just becoming more depressed. And it's a depression that you've never felt in your life. You've had bouts of depression, but not like this. This is worse. This is being made to feel as though you are lower than dirt. This is being made to feel as though everyone around you can see that you are lower than dirt and they just tolerate you. And no, this isn't some new horror film that's going to be coming out to a theater near you. This is the reality for many young women within the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, specifically those that commit immoral sins such as premarital sex, drugs, alcohol. This is the real life story of Elyse and Danielle, two twins and the youngest of a family of 11 who grew up in Missoula, Montana in the Mormon faith, and how they turned their pain into power and created the band MOTHERMARY, an electro psycho pop punk band that uses religious imagery to beg the question, what do you worship and why? Quick disclaimer for today's episode. We are going to be talking about religious trauma, mental health, depression, threats of self-harm or self-exit. So if those topics are too hard for you today, that's okay. Take care of yourself and we'll see you in the next one. Also, quick disclaimer, we are going to be talking about the legal confusions that have been going on around their band, MOTHERMARY, and the new A24 film, MOTHERMARY, that's also going to be coming out in April. And we're going to be discussing the letter that they received from A24's lawyers. All of this is just under fair use. It's just our own opinion. We're not alleging anything. We're not asking for people to not go see the film. We're not saying it's a bad film to go see. We're just simply talking about the situation. Nobody is accusing A24 of anything. MOTHERMARY, the movie, and everything associated with it is the property of A24, and we recognize that. So just wanted to put those quick disclaimers out there. But with that being said, let's get to the episode on Sapphic Side Quest. Because y'all are the youngest, right? You two are the youngest?
Yeah, we're the youngest. Yeah.
What was that
She was
like?
at least 40, right when she had us.
Well, like, what
Youngest
was
of
okay?
11.
Because yeah, because I mean, like, you guys grew up Mormon, okay, which that's a whole can of worms. But like being the youngest, because how many boys and how many girls are there of the 12? Because there's a dozen of you, right?
So
I
there's
know it's
11
there's 6
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
There's
sorry, Danielle and I will talk to
Well, the problem is okay, so we get confused cuz like my dad was married with
Okay.
5 kids.
Okay.
He had 2 girls, 3 boys, and
Okay.
then he got divorced
Mm-hmm.
and then married my mom,
Mm-hmm.
had full custody of the 5 kids, and then they had 6 more. And
Oh
they
my
had
God.
4 more boys, so that'd be 4, 5, 6, 7. That'd be 7 boys and 4 girls.
What was
Both
that
old enough
like
to be
growing up with
11.
7 older brothers? God bless you guys, because
Oh, it was,
I mean,
I was about to say,
it was
God forbid you
intense.
bring a
I mean, it
boyfriend
was-
over, because they're just gonna be
No.
like,
Oh, they
no,
would
oh
literally
God,
be
no.
polishing the gun. No, yeah. Our brother Matt would sit on like I'm not even joking. Like he would like sit on the stairs and he would polish a gun. And I was
Oh
like,
my
You're
God.
like a cartoon, Matt. Like what? Like
Like,
you just like
stop.
tough. He was like in high school, but he like literally
No,
to
yeah.
my senior prom. He
Yeah.
followed me all night long to make sure that I was behaving. I mean, it was just like it's insane. Like,
Yeah, I don't know how
it
it
was
was.
intense.
It was, yeah. I mean, there was like a lot of physical violence, but also it was never boring. I don't know.
I was
So,
gonna say the
and Danielle
corporal
and I usually grew
punishment's
up
got to be.
being. There was
Yeah.
just so many fights, so many fist fights, like people falling down the stairs, or being thrown down the stairs, like fist punching through walls,
Yeah.
like it
Oh my
was a
God.
lot. Yeah, Danielle and I had
like
to be able
things
to
could
like,
escalate so quickly.
yeah,
It's like
Oh yeah.
we would all be chill and we're laughing and we're having a great time and just like one thing happened. It was like the way that like it just we were all kind of walking a tightrope, like just like
Mm-hmm.
trying to not have another situation go off. But they and they would. And things would blow up and then we'd all try to calm down and
Mm-hmm.
it just kind of was that a lot growing up. And I don't think that's just because we have a lot of boys. Because like I knew other Mormon families who
Sure.
were
yeah.
like had a very different.
Yeah.
Weren't so into like corporal punishment. Weren't so into whipping out the belt. When you were
Right. Spare the
there's
rod,
like
spoil the child. Yeah.
some yeah. There was exactly. So we were more of a spare spare the rod, spoil the child
Mm-hmm.
family. But
Yeah.
that obviously that what that taught us is like when someone does something you don't like, you go to violence to fix it.
Yeah.
So that like that for us, it was just like very consistent.
it was hard too because it was like my dad's first family, those kids,
Mm-hmm.
that was a really traumatic divorce,
Mm.
and I think there was some jealousy about like our brothers when they were babies. So like they were the older kids from the first family, they were like abusing my brothers. So
Oh
from a
my
young
God.
age, so then they learned that, and it just kind of went down, So then but it was just it left. It just there was a culture of violence in my house,
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like in our
Yeah.
house from, and a lot of reasons. Like my dad was he was a pretty angry, violent person.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes he could be like the sweetest. He'd go back and forth between being like the
Yeah.
sweetest,
That's how it
loving
was for me. I
dad
mean,
to
you'd
being,
meet so many men in the ward
you
that were
know.
so nice, and then all of us. I'm ex-Mormon too, so that's why I was asking. But you'd meet
Yeah.
so many men in the ward that were like super nice, super sweet. But if you got on their bad side or you saw one of their kids misbehave, it was like a switch flipped. So, Elyse, you left first. You left the church, the church first. Is that right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah. Yep. I was like 19, 20 when so my sister went to BYU first. She did a semester,
Okay.
and then I I wasn't sure at the time if I wanted to go to BYU, but then, our parents didn't have money, and
Mm-hmm.
BYU will give you a big scholarship, and they gave me like a full ride. So I was like, okay, I guess I gotta go to BYU. So I met my sister at BYU. I mean, I definitely still believed in the church, but I don't know. It's hard to say because it's like there's a huge cognitive dissonance happening. Like a
I know
part of
it's
you
complicated. I know.
doesn't believe it. You remember
Yeah.
that. A part of you
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
believe it. Part of you is fully. Part of you that was like, oh, I must, because I was like,
You need to fit
I'm
in.
sure you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Well, and
well, and
the
also,
church's
like,
whole thing is like, you know, this is true because you ask God and he'll tell you that this is true. And if
yeah.
you feel like it's true, then it's true. And so then you kind of start
Well,
doubting yourself, like, but wait a minute. And it's a lot.
They put you in situations where they want to like heighten, like get you emotional, heighten the your senses, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
and get you to a place, like manipulate your emotions to make you feel intense feelings, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like the goosebumps all over your whole body. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
they'll tell you some beautiful truths, and then when you and like, you know, put you in like community
you're
and singing beautiful
activated,
songs,
yeah.
and you're
Right.
activated and everyone's crying and like, so
Mm-hmm.
then
And then they're
you
like,
feel
"This
intense
is the
feelings.
feeling," you know? Yeah.
Right.
like,
and then
you
it's
know,
This is it. Yeah.
and it's hard to walk away from that because then
Yeah.
you look back on it and you go, well, I did feel that thing. Like I felt XYZ. So that must mean it's true. And then there's that whole thing, and I don't think people really understand it that aren't in the church, of it's very much a reward based system of, you know, from the temple blessing to, I mean, I had a friend of mine who he's no longer in the church, and his reason for leaving was he got his temporal blessing, and the temporal blessing said if you do everything you're supposed to do, you'll have good health. And then he got renal failure, and he went, oh no, like that for him was a massive, wait a minute, I've done everything right. I got the priesthood, I went on my mission, I extended my mission by 6 months, like I'm doing all the things, and then I get renal failure, but you told me that I would be okay, you know. And I think that's hard too when you leave, because you're so indoctrinated into the consequences if you do something wrong. If you do something wrong, you can't take sacrament. Your temple pass is taken away. You're not able to do that. I remember I did something and I wasn't able to teach my primary class anymore. Like, it's just this whole thing. And so you get this unbelievable, I would almost say that Mormon guilt surpasses Catholic guilt any day. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's massive.
Yeah. It's a constant public shaming. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you don't have, I mean, if you can't take sacrament, or if you're a boy and you can't bless the priesthood or anything like that, like they do it publicly, like in the sacrament meeting. Like it's not even, and they want people to ask questions like,
everyone's
oh, yeah.
watching it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's not this whole, like nobody has manners and just ignores it. They're going to be like, why isn't Lorena taking sacrament? What did she do? What did she do?
Yep.
And like, even though the bishop's office is supposed to be soundproof, you know, they all talk. It spreads like wildfire.
Who are like, who are waiting to go talk to the bishop. You see.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone knows.
In the line, you know, it's like it gets around fast. You know, it's
very
a small
fast.
Community. It's a tight community. And there's kind of no secrets. I mean, I remember that just reminds me, like, my sister and I, we were kind of pariahs in our ward. Like, we were, you know, there was all the girls that were celebrated and good, and they were the good girls. You know, they were the Mormons, and we were kind of, you know, out of it.
Not.
This is the sad thing.
Honestly, we were such good girls.
You were trying.
Such good, like, you know, it's like, oh, like someone, like I just remember, like, we wore to a dance, we wore a dress that like didn't fully cover our shoulders. It was a dress that my mom like made.
Well,
and, like, we had kind of like worked on with her negotiations.
Yeah.
It was okay.
It just wasn't long enough.
But then a lady in the ward wasn't long enough. So then the bishop publicly, like, you know, after church ends, and he would see all the young women, and he gave all the young women a hug except Elyse and I. And it's just like, that's that stuff that people see.
Yeah,
you know?
and then
he
came up to us.
And it's on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually made us. He made us go into his office to shame us. Like,
oh my god,
we had to sit down in his office as he shamed us about what we wore to prom.
Yeah,
and it's just, and then the culture too of having testimony meeting like that.
Oh gosh,
you know, where it's pressured from when you're a young age to go up in front of your whole community and profess that you know that this is the truth. Because one of the most like humbling things about leaving the religion was being like, wow, I'm a liar. Like I've told everyone my whole life like that I know this is true, and cried and did the whole fucking show for
all
everyone.
the things.
And I had to admit that, like, no, I fucking didn't, and I doubted it the whole fucking time. But I was scared. And
you were
honestly,
trying.
They make you hate, you know. They make you hate
Yeah.
yourself so
They do.
much that you're focused more on the fact that you're a piece of shit than, than actually what manipulation is going on. And I
Yeah.
was just so like, of course I'm a piece of shit, and more focused on that than anything else. And so back to BYU, but like, so I went to BYU. Oh my God, it was such a weird place. I'm actually really glad I went, because I think that was what made me leave the church, because I was on the edge, and I had sinned. I had sex with my boyfriend in high school, and I lied to the bishop to get into BYU, because I couldn't.
Did they make you read the Book of Forgiveness? Because that book traumatized me.
Yes.
Oh my God!
The Miracle of Forgiveness.
Yeah, that's it.
That's a big part of
that book single-handed.
Traumatized me.
Oh my God, that book single-handedly threw me into the deepest depression I had ever been in my life. Yes, because like
I'm literally about to tell you.
Because literally for a year and a half, I full on believed that God did not love me anymore. That I was just not. And no, like you will, and y'all know, but you will never understand that level of despair. If I could take every single copy of The Miracle of Forgiveness and burn it, it's on.
Oh my God!
Like big bonfire.
It's one of the most racist, sexist, homophobic, piece of shit garbage books I've ever read.
Oh, it's awful.
So I went to BYU. I was like, this place is creeping me out. This place is hypersexual. They were telling us essentially like, in the big, they'd make us go to like the big talks where like leaders of the church would be giving a talk. And they would, what were they called?
Devotionals.
And they were saying essentially like, oh, it's really cute that you women are here, but just so you know, like, it doesn't matter what you study. Like, it doesn't matter. Just you're here to meet a husband. Like, who cares? So
you're there to meet an RM and go make babies. That's what you're there to do.
So I was getting like extremely depressed to the point like couldn't really eat, like couldn't sleep, was crying all the time. But I thought it was, maybe because I was like a sinner, or like maybe that they always tell you like that's why you're not feeling the spirit, and I hadn't felt the spirit in fucking years, but I was like, wow, this must be so horrible. That's why I'm not having the spirit anymore. I'm not feeling good feelings about the church. I'm feeling all these creepy, icky feelings. But they tell you that that's Satan,
that's your fault.
It's because you can't have the spirit in you, and that's because you're a piece of shit. So anyways, I was like, okay, I guess I need to go to the repentance process. So I go to the bishop and I admit that I had sex and I lied to get into BYU, and he's, essentially like, okay, well, I either have to kick you out of school and you lose your scholarship and be humiliated in front of like, entire community. Or he's like, okay, or if you're like really repentant and you like read the Miracle of Forgiveness, and he made me like write essays, and he made me like read my scriptures morning and night, and he just had all of these rules, and I had to not take the sacrament for a while. I keep coming to meetings, but when I was reading the Miracle of Forgiveness was probably the lowest point of my depression. I mean, it says shit in there like, if you're being raped, it's better that you die fighting back, because like essentially your virginity is worth more than your life.
Oh, I remember when I had premarital sex, my bishop told me that my boyfriend was Mormon as well. And I remember he pulled me in and I was sitting across the desk from him, and he straight up told me that my sin was second to murder.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that a lot. Yeah.
And I'm like, he's like, because you have basically taken his chance of going to the celestial kingdom. You've basically killed his soul. And then and he got like a slap on the wrist. Like his bishop was like totally fine with it. He's like, oh, you did bad. Poor you. Go.
She seduced you.
Yeah. It's just, and like that felt like the only option for us, because our parents didn't have the money to go anywhere else. And honestly, we were never encouraged to go anywhere else. I never told that we could do anything else other than be a wife and a mother. Like that was
you have a plan.
Only option. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
no.
I got
you that, you're doing
right. You are
meet to your husband and to nurture children. That's it.
Yeah,
that's your
and you only are going to go on your mission if you don't meet a husband, which that's a you problem, But you're going to BYU to basically just pacify time. to meet an RM and get married and make babies. And if you leave school early because you're getting married, that's fine. That is totally fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what do you mean you want to do something with your life? Are you fucking insane? Like,
it's wild that they even make women pay.
How dare you have dreams for yourself?
We're essentially just like cattle to be picked, you know.
I know.
Like it felt so dark, but I got into a super dark place where I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. And I had gone through the entire repentance process, and he said that I was forgiven, but I felt sadder than I'd ever felt before, and so lost. And I was so confused because it's like I'm doing everything right. Like I was doing everything right, and I still not only did I not feel the spirit, but I felt the most empty, depressed that I'd ever felt in my entire life. Like I felt like I wanted to die. I was hoping couldn't kill myself.
That's better than this.
Maybe a bus could hit me and I could just die because I can't do this. Like, and so I prayed like just so hard to God at the time, and I got this overwhelming feeling of get the fuck out of here. Get out of here now.
Just get out.
So I literally like packed a bag and I literally hitched a ride to Salt Lake City because it was the closest city.
Yeah.
And I literally stayed on a friend's floor in secret because her roommates would have been mad. I stayed on her floor for a week, like having to sneak in and out of the house. And then I like moved into. Luckily, I moved into this house that like had a bunch of ex-Mormons, and
that's nice.
Helped me in that very. Like, I was so fragile at that point and so confused, and they really helped me like
somebody gets it.
But I didn't even fully know what I was doing. I was just like, I need out of here now. I didn't even tell the school I was dropping out. I didn't tell anyone I was leaving other than my sister. I didn't even quit my job. I was holding the Little Caesars pizza sign. I just left. I didn't show up to work. I just didn't show up to work. I was like, this is life or death for me. I have to get out now.
I got to get out. Yeah. How long after you left, Lorena, did you leave? Because you were both at BYU at the same time. Is that right?
So I came early. A semester before her, and then Elyse came, and we were together there. I think only for like a semester on, and then a semester off where we were both still in town. But did you tell Lorena like you were leaving, or did Lorena just happen to be like, where the fuck is my sister? Okay, she did. On like a Thursday, and she was gone like that weekend.
I only told my sister.
She just
you won't. I would imagine.
I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm out
this weekend, and I was like, what? Like, it was shocking. I was like,
well, yeah,
you're just going now. Like she was like my roommate. I was like,
well, yeah,
leaving. And then she was just gone. All of her stuff was gone, and she was gone. And like,
what was it like for you now? Like being at BYU by yourself, you don't have. And obviously, really I don't. Scary. What was those conversations like too? Because I'm sure everybody else realized Elyse is gone.
Yeah.
So there's those conversations.
You know how it's like it's very Big Brother there. It's very like I kind of knew. I was like, oh, she must have done something bad. But like we're the closest. We're identical twin sisters. We're best friends. But even still, I was scared to even ask what she had done.
So you thought that she maybe had? Did you think that maybe the school was going to kick her out already, and she just made the decision to leave? Is that what you thought?
I know.
Because that's probably what I would have thought. Is like, oh shit, what the fuck did you do?
We weren't in semester at the time.
Okay.
So like
okay.
We were out.
Okay.
Like we were waiting for the next semester to happen.
Okay, so you were in between, yeah.
Yeah, we were in between, and so like it couldn't have been that, but I was kind of like, whoa, like this is abrupt, and like she went from like my sister was like really obviously like was trying with that bishop to like be perfect, because it was honestly scary to me, because we always were a little bit black sheep.
Sure.
Still trying, but like didn't really fit in, and she was like writing like religious songs and like singing at like farmers markets about Jesus, and like really going crazy full in. Yeah. And
you're so low at that point. She, at least I'm sure you're probably going, okay, I'm doing everything right, but I still feel like shit. So it's me. Yeah. I'm the problem. Yeah. Like something like clearly my heart is not in the right place. Jesus is not coming
Well,
back because of
I
something
actually
I'm
feel
doing. So
like-
you're just trying to do everything you possibly can.
Clearly, it erodes at your ego. It erodes at
Oh
your
my God.
self-esteem. So like
Well, yeah.
they've told you you are nothing. You have to look to God to get anything, and you just get
Right.
lower and lower and lower. And when you have no self-esteem, then you're not gonna, you are in the perfect position to be primed and brainwashed to like stay in the thing and to doubt any feelings that you have because you're stupid, are dumb, and you just need to listen, and you're just so bad, and she just really fully, they really eroded away at like my sister, and I was like, who is, like, honestly was like, ooh, who is this,
You don't even know who you
honestly,
are.
like, I actually know, I think, so it was, I am so grateful. I don't know if I would have left if I hadn't gone that hard. Because it's like there's always that doubt where you're like, there's the doubt where you're like, oh well, maybe I don't believe it just because I didn't try hard enough. But I fucking
like, oh, it's not that bad. Like, things aren't that bad.
I did everything that they wanted me to do. I was fucking perfect, and it was the most unhappy I've ever been. And I think that was finally a moment that I was like, I think I was on the verge of realizing it's not me. It's this. Like this.
It's them, yeah.
I agree, and I think that is in part why I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I felt like I had to stay, and I stayed longer. But I feel like, looking back, one of the reasons I was able to stay longer is because I never committed to the level that Elyse did. I always, in the back of my head, was like, you're living a lie. Like,
right.
You don't actually believe this.
But you weren't going hard in the paint like she was, and just beating yourself up, trying to...
I faked out, like, you have to go to church, they keep records. Or,
you're going through the motions. It's fine.
I would go, I would make sure they saw me, I'd slip out, mid-sacrament meeting, I'm going to the bathroom, never come back, like, I would just, like, drive home.
I'll show up again at Relief Society when I have to be there, people realize I'm gone, you know.
Yeah, like, we kind of had different strategies, but it's not that I still went through this, like, horrible depression and, like, guilt around, like, I need to try harder, like, if I'm doing this, if this is my life, then I need to go all the way in, and I was forced to get married because we never even talked about it, but my story of leaving is throughout our high school years we weren't allowed to date, and it was like all of a sudden now you can date,
and you have no clue what you're doing. You're just like, what?
I had secretly dated in high school and had been naughty and felt still guilty about it and never told anyone about it. But then I'm there and I'm like, okay, now I have to date, but I there's no real good advice about, they're just like abstinence, like don't do anything. But everyone is so horny because everything is so focused on like, do not have sex, do not kiss. Like every meeting is like, do not pet each other, do not like.
God forbid you touch each other. Like
you Elyse and I always joke like you had the hug with the hips out. Everyone hugs with like hips far away. It's like heaven forbid like if you touch like they're gonna get a boner in 2
seconds.
It did happen.
So overly sexualized and
very much so.
But
then they blame you because you always have sex on the brain. You're like, no, I really wouldn't if you wouldn't make such a big fucking deal about it. Like, just calm down.
They would literally tell us, like, as women, like, you don't have the same urges that men do. Like, you don't want to have sex, so it's up to you girls to hold the line. It's like, I remember them telling me, like,
it's our responsibility.
Absolutely. If something happens, it's your fault. So I'm getting all of this messaging. I'm dating my first boyfriend. Falling in love for the first time, having all these feelings.
Which is super intense because you've never done. Oh my God! Like you've never done that before. You've never felt that before. So it literally feels like it's all consuming too. So and you have no guidance.
You're exploring your sexuality, like anyone should. It's a healthy time.
It's healthy.
And I always felt very sexual, and I always was like ahead of my peers in that way, and like.
Yeah.
It was like always ashamed of it. And I credit that for making me really kinky now. But I will credit the Mormon Church. Thank you for making me so fucking kinky.
Thank you for that.
It's great.
Same.
It's one of those I'd love to be able to sit down with either your old bishop or my old bishop and tell him all the kinky shit we've done and just watch his face, just like all the blood just drain from his face.
Oh, like you want to hear about all my sins? Like, let me tell
you. Want to hear about all of this? Let me tell you.
So I had sex with my boyfriend after a year of dating.
Sure.
And so, of course, whore,
Whore, absolutely. Yep.
And
It's all your fault.
he had served mission and felt really guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think the messaging he was getting and I was getting, and everyone really gets there, is like, get married. And, he felt like, again, it's the murder thing. Like, oh, we had sex, like we've committed murder.
Yep.
We've basically fucked with our souls and potentially, a child's.
Oh yeah. It's generational.
Like you've potentially murdered a child just by having sex, basically.
You've murdered generations. You've committed genocide at this point. Good for you.
Yeah. How many did I kill? Like,
how many did I kill doing this?
Horrible. But so anyway, he told on me to the bishop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a control mechanism.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's a way, I think Sean knew, maybe subconsciously even, that it was a way that he could lock Danielle down,
Oh yeah.
But I'll let Danielle
tell this. Yeah. I mean, he didn't want to lose me, and I'm so much further away from it now that like I feel for him too, because I know that he was also primed.
You're both victims. You're just you're doing what you need to do to survive.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like he was extremely fucked up from the church, and from his mission, and from what went on in his family, and he didn't want to lose me, and like he was, I think he wanted to lock it down and
to try,
because the truth is, like he had to be good and tell the bishop then. So we're going through the repentance process, and then we just started having sex again. And then he didn't tell the bishop then.
Then you learn to keep your mouth shut.
Then all of a sudden he's okay keeping his mouth shut. And we lied all the way through.
Because you guys were engaged. You left that out.
Because we were engaged.
Yeah.
Because we were forced. So we were, because I had sex, I went to the bishop,
and
I was on, a full ride scholarship like Elyse. Like they, if you get certain good grades and
they'll give it to you.
Follow the rules, they'll give you a full ride scholarship, which we couldn't have gotten education really anywhere. Family.
I was gonna say,
wasn't, my dad had lost his job. They were in a bad place.
You're really, again, another form of control. You're forced into taking it because it's like, it's either this or I don't get my education. Right. It's this or nothing.
All of our like older siblings that my mom had, none of them at that point had any higher education. And so both of us.
So you guys would have been the first.
God.
So that's a big thing for you. Yeah.
Yeah. We were like, we really felt a lot of pressure. Like, we really need to do this. And like, I don't know how we'll escape like Montana. We didn't see ourselves living there forever. So anyway, just a lot of pressure. And I also got this like theater scholarship that it's just so fucked up. But part of the agreement was like, because they're like, oh, we don't want to waste the money that we give out. So like, if you take this scholarship and you don't graduate with a degree in theater, you have to pay this money back. So it's I had all this, as an 18-year-old, I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm going to be shamed in front of my family and friends and community, like everyone I know, and I'm going to be sent home. I will be unable to attend school again unless I follow all of their rules. And even then, like, they may not accept you again.
Yeah.
And
you're in debt if you leave.
And you're in debt. I'm in debt. And so I was just like, well, I'll do whatever you say, So he was.
Sure.
The bishop was like, like if you follow this book, The Miracle of Forgiveness, and you work with me for months and tell me every sin, you've ever committed, like especially mostly sexual ones, then, you can get married to your partner, and I won't tell the school. So the funny thing is, like, he's also sinning because he's supposed to tell the school no matter what. I committed a sin, and I signed an agreement with the school that if I had done any of these sins, I'd be kicked out. But he was like, well, keep it between you and me, if you tell me all.
That's so predatory, too. Like, that is so predatory.
So predatory. So I was like, yep, okay, I'll tell you anything.
Like, oh, just keep it between us. Tell me all the details. Yeah. And I can't help but think that.
Details, yeah.
And I cannot help but think that he's going to go home later and get off to that. Like, that is just so fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's putting you in a position of.
Yeah. In the room.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it feels so much bigger than you. Like, even though you're an adult, technically, you're 18, 19 years old. There's something about being in this really small room with this older guy who's like towering over you because you're just sitting there in a chair, like trying to like disappear and make yourself as small as possible. And he's asking you all these questions. And then for him to be like, well, keep it between us and I won't tell the school. it's nothing more than I mean, it's just assault. It's just another form of assault for you. And I think that that's one thing that people don't talk about a lot with the church is the amount of when people finally leave. Like Elyse, you were talking about, like for you, the turning point was hitting that low, the lowest you've ever felt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then getting to that point, people don't talk enough about the fact that, like, because of the way that the Mormon church is structured, of you do good things, you get good things. You do bad things, you get bad things. And then the minute something happens that contradicts that, like, I don't know, you've been a good Mormon, you've done what you should do, you got married, and then your mom gets cancer, you know, they don't talk about the amount of mental anguish that you go through when you leave. Because everything you've learned up to this point is your fault. If you don't feel the spirit, that's your fault. If something bad happened, well, that's your fault. What did you do? What did you do that upset God so much? And he felt the only way to get, and the only way to get to you was to get to your loved one, right? Was to make your loved one sick or kill your dog or something. It took me about 10 years, I think, to get to the point of being completely out of that, to where I wasn't feeling any depression anymore as a result of that. I didn't have any lingering feelings about it. The missionaries finally stopped coming to my house and tracking my mom down and asking where I was, you know? And so, like, how long after, Elyse, okay, so you got married, Lorena, did you actually get married?
Oh yeah, they forced me to get married. I got married.
How long were you married for?
I was married throughout school. It was about 5 years.
Oh wow.
So
okay.
Like throughout my schooling, I stayed married, and then after school, I was like, I kind of knew, I'd always known, like, I need to leave, you know. But there's, you know, it's tough. Like, leaving is a whole process.
Yeah.
But like, long story short, I went to New York with my then husband, and I think I just knew that I wouldn't be able to leave without my sister, and she was there, and I moved in with her, and I was like starting to tell her what's going on in my marriage and my feelings and like the turmoil. I was so scared.
And I was seeing it with her too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was seeing
now because they were,
you know, my
seeing it in
relationship had
person,
become very abusive, very like emotionally abusive, like controlling, paranoid, like, and
he was
he
would keep her phone on himself.
Oh
she
my
wasn't
gosh.
allowed to have her phone. He had to have her phone
Yeah.
on him. He got to the point where
the bathroom.
He wouldn't even.
He didn't want me to
ever be alone.
Oh my God.
Possibly like without him. If we sat in the car, like if I sat in like the front seat of someone's car, and he would sit behind me and have his arm on me, like,
and hover,
and just hover,
yeah,
you know, just
oh
always
my God.
there. Like,
and
yeah,
he got to the point,
like there was a hand, like,
and he knew he was losing Danielle, and so he was just desperately so he was like, he was like crumbling, and he wasn't able to like do anything for himself. Danielle was doing everything. Danielle was cooking, cleaning, applying for him, you know, making resumes, trying to get him a job. He wouldn't get a job. He just couldn't function. He was getting to the point he couldn't function. But then when Danielle was telling him, you know, I don't know if you were telling him you wanted to leave, but I just remember him threatening suicide if he would leave. Because I remember talking to Danielle about this, and Danielle came to me and was like, I was like, he needs to fucking go. This is so abusive. This is horrible.
Yeah, it's manipulative.
And I was like, but he's gonna kill himself. And I was like, let's call his bluff then, because that is so manipulative and shitty. I was like, fine, do it then, you know, because like I'm not gonna lose my sister. Like I don't want to watch my sister ruin her life and lose.
Yeah,
so scary,
she
though.
Was.
When,
it's horrifying.
He had.
And we all cared about him. Of course, we didn't want
multiple times. Yeah, he had.
Well, of course you do.
Psychotic breaks near the end, and he would have this like a psychotic break when I told him I was going to leave the religion, and then he would full on start speaking in like basically tongues, you know, like in other non-verbal languages, and shaking, and I had to take him to the emergency room, and they had to like
sedate him,
bring him in, and sedate him, and like, I'd bring him, and it was like that was multiple times, and like when he would start coming out of it, he'd be like, please don't leave me,
please don't leave me. this is what happens when you leave. Yeah, like I love you so much. And at some point you just go, do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Just
that's
I can't stop
then she got to the point where my sister was a wreck. I told her, I was like, you need to tell him to leave. You know, Danielle, she did, and had to tell him like she didn't love him anymore. But then he still wouldn't leave, so then I had to go up to him and be like, get the fuck out of my house now.
Get out.
And like, I don't care if like what happens to you. You are not welcome here.
Yeah.
And he went to a mental institution for 2 weeks. Which is good.
It's probably where he needs to be.
For over a month.
Oh wow.
Over a month.
Oh, like, so he really went. Like, it wasn't like a 3-day, like, I'm just checking myself in for 72 hours. Like, he full on. Okay.
No,
well, you know what? Then religious psychosis is real, and I feel like people need to get some help. And it, unfortunately, and like you said, it's awful that he was that manipulative. And I, of course, never want to make excuses for somebody's behavior. But also at the same time, too, there is so much manipulation that's placed on you guys and us from such a young age that you don't, he knows what he's doing. He knew what he was doing. But I think at the same time, it's like he doesn't know what his life would be like without you and the marriage and what that means. And then probably also he's scared to death of like, okay.
It was life or death for him.
Yeah, it was life or death. Like, what does that mean for me eternally if my wife leaves? If I'm now divorced, you know, what does that look like? You know? And so... So you eventually left.
I was angry for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Blamed a lot, but then, you know, and I think that's part of the process of healing is I had to be angry at him, and I had to be angry at
you
what
have
happened,
to.
and I had to process that. It's now been more than 10 years, and at this point, I'm like, I feel for him, you know?
Well, two things can be true at once. You can be a victim and manipulative at the same time,
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, at this point, I'm like, you know, I know the fucked up turmoil and shit that he's been through, and I don't know where he's at today, and I don't need to know, and I don't need you know, to ever be in contact.
You just hope he's doing well, and
I just hope he's doing well, and I believe he left the church, so good for him, and I hope that he's, you know, figuring stuff out. But for me, it's like that was the best decision of my life. Like that's when I started making good decisions in my life. Leaving the church.
When you started thinking for yourself too,
Yeah, the first time. It was the first time in my entire life that I actually got to be myself and like not live a lie. I was so fragmented. I started going to a therapist. She's like, you were the most fragmented person. Like everything was so, I had to be multiple different people. I was like, I'm this person when I'm with these people. I'm this person when I'm with these people. And I just did not know who I was because I had to perform so much being Mormon. I had to lie because you can't be perfect, but you're expected to be perfect. So you have to have all these performances and all these roles that you put on. And it was like years of just shedding the roles and being like, who am I? What do I believe?
Right.
Who do I want to be? And like, a lot of it was like the most exciting, the hardest, most challenging, most like scary probably time of my life, but also the most beautiful, the most creative, the most like freeing time of my life. And I always look back on that as like I moved to New York, and New York is just like, that's my home. That is where I
I love New York
myself. That's like the first place I felt accepted, like I belonged. I was like, I belong here, and I feel it.
Look, if you are the black sheep of your family, go to New York. You will find. I mean, I was a theater kid. I was a music kid. I majored in musical theater in college. Like that was my thing. So like New York, like I remember the first time I ever went, I was like 17, and I was like, I don't want to leave. Like I will pop up a cardboard box in Central Park and figure it the fuck out. Like I just don't want to leave. And people like, it's funny because I'll hear people, especially down here in the South, you know, and I'm sure probably up there in Missoula, you know, there's small town people. So there's people that are like, oh, I would never go to New York, like never. And I'm like, you could not scrape me off the sidewalk if you tried. Like, when I die, please cremate me and just very, very discreetly take some of my ashes and put them in between the seats of like the Gershwin Theater and you just put them in places. Just put them everywhere. I don't care. Just leave me there. So you moved
little dime bags and sell
yes. Sell me to a crackhead in Alphabet City. I don't care. Just do something. I don't care. So you moved to New York. Elyse, you got into the music business, and I was reading on your website. You said you taught yourself music production after you said you were hitting walls in the music industry. So what were some of the things? What were some of the things that you were hearing? What was going on to make you kind of go, "I'm just going to do this for myself"?
So when I left BYU, I was in Salt Lake for a few years, and I was like playing in bands and doing like little tours, and we finally like scraped up enough money to like, you know, pay someone to record us, and we were all so excited. I think we were like, you know, it was like 22 or something. And it just was like, the process it sucked. Like, honestly, we hired the wrong it was one of my bandmates hired essentially a guy who does metal bands, and we were like a full, you know, this was like Beach House Grizzly Bear times. Like,
yeah, no, wrong vibe.
Like we were kind of like freak folky, like a little bit like Coco Rosie meets Grizzly Bear meets like Beach House. Like it was, like it was
totally wrong vibe,
synthy,
different.
but it was pretty. And it just, he did the best he could, but
he did the best he could.
Horrible. He just essentially put reverb like on everything, and it was a mess. And he only got like, I think he wanted it to do like us like live band, like playing the songs, and he gave us like probably 1 or 2 times for each song, and it just,
oh gosh.
I mean, now that I record other people and produce other people, I'm like, wow, this guy, he really. It was like we had like a day in the studio to record like 5 songs, and the mixing was horrible, totally thrown together, and it was so.
And maybe because he was trying to keep it cheap, but it's like when you can't afford to make it sound good, if your band, you know, you have to learn, and you
have to,
fuck it, I'm gonna learn it myself.
And it's totally possible to make your band sound worse.
The whole thing, it just went down horribly. Like, I could have like recorded with friends, but one of my bandmates was like, "No, let's go with this guy," and it was like expensive for us at the time. It probably wasn't that much, honestly.
But at the time it was.
And it was horrible. At the time it was, and it was horrible. And honestly, it was so depressing to me that I like quit music for like a year, and like had like.
Well, I can imagine because when somebody mixes something like that, you go, "God, we sound like shit."
I was like,
that doesn't wonder on your psyche. Like, here you are thinking you sound good, and then you get the wrong music mixer, and you're like, "Oh my God, do we really sound like that?" We just need to pack it up. Like,
we are insane.
I didn't.
So like,
I get it. I understand completely.
That far, it's like so demoralizing. It's like, okay, well, you know what? We'll just
pack it in.
And like when I tried to like go in and remix it with him, but I didn't have the language to describe what I needed, and I just was like, okay. So it's like, okay. So I took a break, and I was like traveling Europe for a few months. And on the way there, like, I fell in love with New York City. And then I was like, whoa, what am I doing in Salt Lake City? So I literally, after that trip, I literally came home. I was $1,000 of debt from the trip. But I came home and I immediately sold all my shit and moved to New York City. I learned Ableton and I learned Logic.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with music again. And it was like, it just was like so fun and intuitive, and was like, immediately was writing songs and got really, really excited, and eventually then I got my own place and like started like learning how to produce. And that's when I was writing the first MOTHERMARY record, when Danielle moved in with me.
Right. What was that first recording session? Well, first of all, let me start here. What made you land on the band name of MOTHERMARY? Because that's already doing like so much as it is.
Yeah. So
well,
leaving Mormonism, like. I think we both were looking at, okay, well, we just got out of this high demand, high control religion, and we're looking at like, how did we get here, and were there any women that we could look to, you know, in this religion,
right, that
would show us how we're supposed to be, like, you know, how we're supposed to model our lives after. And really everything in the Bible, it's like, you know, you're you know, it's the forever the Madonna complex, like you're you know, the angel or the devil, you know, you're the whore, or you're
the mother,
like, literally and possibly the mother of God, you know. So
Yeah.
It was a, we wanted to like speak to the fact that Mother Mary was the only holy woman that we were like able to look to as an example. And yet this example is completely impossible. Like, she's a mother who they claim is also a virgin, and God, you know, puts a baby in her. And it's like, okay, so I'm supposed to do that? So fucked up in so many ways. And, you know, be sexual, but don't have sex. It's like, literally, there's just so many oxymorons with, you know, in her as this image that we're supposed to copy. And we were like, you know what's actually true to us? That we're like, that sexuality is holiness.
It is.
Like,
yeah.
It's not like you don't have to be a mother without having sex somehow to be holy. Like, it's like, oh, she's, you know, this idea of like Mother Mary is holy because she didn't even have sex and she was a mother. It's like this great, it's like, no, we're actually, the thing that's holy and magic about us, the thing that's like, that is a creator, that is like, because God is like a creator, is sex, is our sexuality. That is our power. That is holiness.
But also like our full dynamicness, you know, like I think we grew up for so long being told that we were not worthy and that we were sinners. And I just wanted to embody my holiness and reclaim my holiness and be like, and call me. And I loved the sacrilegiousness of it too, of just being like, yeah, I'm a god, I'm a goddess, like I am worthy, I am holy, like all of me,
I saint myself, you know, I choose, you know, we choose. I don't need a man to say that I am sainted or I'm holy, or, you know,
no.
We can just, we are, and like all women are.
Well, I'm also of the mind, too, that the church does everything it possibly can to suffocate women because they're scared to death of what happens when we actually are fully able to step into our power. Like, the amount of change that would happen in the world if we ran off of a matriarchy versus a patriarchy. Oh, my God. Like, and then you think, too, it's like there's no wonder that the church allows, like, kind of what we were talking about earlier, of it's all your fault, and allows that victimhood to happen, where it's this abuse that happens over and over again, because your whole religion is based off of the fact that God basically forcibly impregnated a child against her own will, and somehow that's holy. Well, no wonder you no wonder you act the way that you do, because your own God is a predator in that regard. You know?
Exactly.
You know, and so I think that when we finally step into our own and go, you know what? No, I am holy. I am a goddess. I am a fucking badass. And yeah, I can be a fucking whore if I want to. And that's fine too. There's a level of power that comes in that with a woman that is completely unstoppable. And men have no idea what to do with it.
Smaller, you know, make the expectations impossible so that you can't ever meet them, so that you always feel bad. You know, you look at Eve, you know, you look. It's like, okay, Eve's horrible because she wanted knowledge. So don't look into knowledge. Don't educate yourself. Don't have sex, but be a mother. Don't be sexual, but, you know, attract men. There's just constantly, everything is
don't hold
an
power
expectation that you can't meet. You're just trapped in a constant, impossible place. And that's perfect for them, because if we did embrace our full, like Elyse was saying, you know, our full selves, like the full embodiment of what a woman is, we would all be so powerful. And the matriarchy comment too is also kind of in part of it, where it's like, okay, what if we just like flipped this whole fucking religion around and we rewrote it, and it's like, it was a matriarchy, like that actually Mother Mary is the God, is God, because because women create, you know, every person has come from a woman. So why are we worshiping a man? What if we just switch this around, the way that we do, like, our imagery? I think a lot of people sometimes don't. It's like, oh, you know, people who are confused about what we do, they're like, but you're playing it out. It's like, you know, it's like we're showing kind of this world in which, you know, we're dominatrixes and we like walk a man on stage and everything. But it's like, it's a satire that is trying to show us like what we're actually, like, this is what we're doing. you
Mm-hmm.
know? And in some ways it's like we're flipping it on its head, and in other ways it's like staring you right in the face. Like
Yeah,
you like men are just in patriarchy, they are just slaves to the patriarchy, and
they are. Yeah.
they are dehumanized, and so are women. And it's just like I guess I want like to kind of explain that, like, you know, what we're doing is we're playing with these power structures and these ideas and pushing back.
Back to what you were talking about with the duality of, you know, how men are also the victims of the patriarchy, and taking that and flipping it on its head and putting it in your face in a different way. It does push that envelope, and it does really beg the question of those that are watching you to kind of think about those power structures and what those actually mean when placed in a different context. So with
Back to
non-duality, yeah,
okay,
because
so
that's your new one.
a
That one
quick
just got released.
yeah, a quick short way to describe it is, I mean, so with "I'm Your God," you know, it's kind of obvious. It's like that was our first, you know, our first thing was like reclaiming our holiness and claiming that we are gods, and that was fun. It was sacrilegious, and then non-duality is saying actually we're all gods. JK, you know, like I'm your god. Yeah,
Just kidding.
it can be fun and kinky, but like, no, I mean it's something that we really like. We honestly believe in non-duality, like in the like that separateness is an illusion, and that we literally all are a part of God, because to us God is everything. It's you, it's me, it's this table, it's the earth, it's plants, you know, like literally everything. And
Like the idea,
yeah,
it's like I want to say specify for me,
yeah.
and I think everyone thinks about this differently, but like it's like I don't, you know, believe a table is actually God, but I think it's, for me it's like the idea, like humans create
Sure.
an idea, an ancient like concept of like a god, of like creator, of like something, and that is the universe, like.
Mhm.
And it is all connected. The farther out you zoom, it's all connected. The closer you zoom, it's all connected.
Mm-hmm.
And
we're all made up of the same exact things.
Stardust, you know, it's
Oh yeah.
Non-duality was like, you know, our kind of first thing is like it's like it's the first focus on the individual and the personal healing, and like I am holy. I get to be my own creator.
Yeah.
And then the next part was like embracing like, but I'm infinitely connected. And no one is God and everyone is God, you know?
Well, God is in you and God is in me, and the same light that's in God is in all of us. And so, you know,
this like obsession of worshiping others is like not actually.
You don't have to look outward for it. It's in you.
It's all around you.
Lyrics in the song is like, you want to see God, look with your eyes wide. And what I mean is like, open your fucking eyes. Like literally, it's like, you know, we're all like praying to this God, or like, you know, with like this white Jesus and this white God, this white supremacy, like at least with a lot of Christianity. But I think that there would be so much more like understanding and love if we really if we just realize that like we're all a part of God. We're literally all literally.
And if we approached each other with the thing of the divine in me recognizes the divine in you, and we saw each other that way, I think that creates this automatic level of just respect and a level of honestly closeness and intimacy that we are lacking so much in our society, to say, you know what, it's not you versus me, it's not us versus them, we all come from the same thing. You're just as divine and holy as I am, regardless of where 100%. You come from, the color of your skin, what language you speak, it doesn't matter. I feel like in writing this, it's also a level of catharsis for you as well. So you writing it as a level of
therapy.
Yeah, it is. It's its own form of therapy. So was there a song or songs that you've written that took more of a toll on you to work through and get out and produce than others? I mean, they all cost you something. But was there one or two that you can think of that maybe was a little bit heavier for you to put down and write and get put together?
I mean, they're all really vulnerable, but yeah, I don't know if there's like specific, because a lot of our songs too, they're like a little tongue in cheek, you know, like
also, again, using humor, I think to like
to lighten
reframe and reprocess.
He used humor to work through the trauma.
So dark. You know, just
Right.
Like, yeah, because like some things are so horrible, all you can do is laugh. But so I think, I feel like fucked up. There was definitely, I don't know. There's definitely like in that song. It's just that's an example of one where I feel like in writing that and in kind of working through how we wanted it to feel, we were exploring our own feelings of just the absolute and utter like chaos in the world and the darkness that is so scary and both, but there's again it was like we're exploring the duality where there's like things that feel, and I don't even really know if I believe in evil, but like there's things that that's just the word that helps describe it, but like it feels so evil and feels so scary and horrible in the world. It's like there's such darkness, there's like death, there's destruction, and it feels just impossible to face, and you just feel so. Sometimes you just feel like that like scribbly meme, where it's like your eyes are like blacked out and you're just totally fucked up. But then there's like the duality of it too is like there is the opposite of that is like the things we were taught were fucked up that actually are beautiful and actually have been healing, like getting together as a community and like dancing and like exploring your sexuality and like being free, like letting yourself go, like exploring like literal darkness, like the night, like the time that we were told is bad and to never be, to explore things that kink and BDSM and like just those darknesses sometimes are ways that are actually like the revolution and communities have used to connect and to like heal and to grow, like a righteous rage, like anger, like all that. So like fucked up was kind of, I feel like this.
Well, it's specific. It says fucked up on your love, so it's kind of. It's also like it's mimicking like
there's everything
the fucking
song,
insanity. Of like religious people. It's like you could compare it to someone being in love, like the way that they talk about Jesus or God. And
the sound also is so incredible to me because for me, like it's almost this. It's ethereal, but it's also, you feel it as well. What made you guys land on the sound that you wanted to have with your music? Was that something that, like, Elyse, you had already come up with, or what made you land on that?
I mean, like, it's evolved, but, like, because it definitely started, like, electro poppy, but maybe it was, like, a little bit more inspired by, like, Jesse Lanza, or, like, a little bit, maybe... Yeah, a little bit more like indie pop, and it's gotten like a little bit more like inspired by like industrial and 80s and I don't know, and Danielle and I it's kind of just like whatever we want to make. Also, sometimes I'm like, wow, we write songs that are all over the board. Like sometimes I'm like, this is just pop, or this is just like synthwave, or like, but we're just writing what we're.
It's also funny because like we grew up on. I think generally, we're just, we want to write music that we would want to listen to. Like, the theme was like, we really connect to music that is really emotional and really intense. And whether we like it or not, it's like, I think when we first started writing, we were like, oh, we need like lightness and we want like, the sensuality and like the sexuality that we weren't allowed to have. We want that to come through, and we want to write music for like women, like to feel themselves too and to like embody. But then anger just came too, and pain and the intensity of like a life change and like leaving a traumatizing religion and cult. And I think then like all this inspiration that was coming from like the music that we grew up on, like hardcore and metal and like just the like people have been like, wait, there's like breakdowns in your songs that remind me of like old screamo bands, and I'm like, that was on accident. But it's like because we were like, oh, we're writing pop music, we were like, we want people to like dance, and we were like, we want it to be, and I feel like our change, like our life change, was such a revolution that I feel like from the beginning we were writing music and we were like, we want this to feel like music people can listen to in their own life changes and their own revolutions.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you listen to Dan
Yeah, we
Savage,
want
but
people to
he always
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry.
he always talks about like how in like the AIDS crisis and in the like heat of um the communities, LGBTQ communities
Hmm.
fighting for their rights, they were fighting, they were protesting during the day, and at night they were partying their fucking
Partying.
asses off, and they were
Oh yeah.
fucking, and they were having, because you have to have like both, it's like
You have to have a
there's the
release.
fight and there's the anger, but then there's also the release, and
Hmm.
there's like celebrating what you do have in the meantime.
Yeah.
And I always felt like I feel like our music was that too, because it was like if we drown it completely in the anger and the sadness and like the feeling
It's overwhelming
shame
after a
and
while.
guilt, and it's overwhelming, and you just
Yeah.
like I just couldn't fully sit in it. So it's like
Yeah.
our music is very, it's like the vocals just kind of were, ended up being like light and almost ethereal, almost like, you kind of think of a choir or like something holy or ancient, and then the music though has always been like hard,
Like sexy, like powerful, like just
Yeah.
empowered. I want them to feel like, yeah, you can have the anger, but you can take it and you can like
Yeah.
use
Yeah,
it.
you can use it. And well, and it's one of those things
it's
too
like
of like,
defiant. I feel like that's what
oh yeah,
keeps coming to me. I'm like,
It's
our
defiant,
music
yeah.
It
we want
is.
to feel defiant. Like defiant, it's like we're in a fucked up, horrible world, but you can't fucking like we've escaped religion, we've escaped the patriarchy and as much as you can, and we
As
will
much as you
not
can,
let
yeah.
them fucking put the boot on us anymore.
Yeah.
They're gonna continue to try, but we're gonna continue to find ways to celebrate and to embody ourselves and to not feel ashamed, for who we are, and like
Yeah.
fully dynamic women.
Okay, I gotta ask, and I was planning on, I didn't know if I was gonna ask about this, but have you heard anything back from A24 from their lawyers past that letter, the one letter?
That's a good question. Okay, so I'll just give for whoever doesn't know,
Who doesn't know? Yeah.
listening to this. So, we're a band called Mother Mary. We make electro pop music. We've been around
Yep.
since 2016. Our imagery is kind of gothic, BDSM, dark wave, very, very sexual forward, very like taking the ancient looks at holiness and recreating it through a modern lens.
Hmm.
And turns out there's a new movie that's coming out with A24, starring Anne Hathaway, and it's called Mother Mary.
With the same
That's
religious
okay.
imagery and kind of
With
the same tone and
imagery, and
But also,
it's
it
also
is
about
about
a band who is an electro pop band. It
Mhm.
sounds really similar and is connected to artists that we're connected to in the industry.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, well, wait. But it's a movie and you guys are a band, like whatever. Mother Mary, because Mother Mary is an ancient term and like you guys don't own it, right? Okay,
Yeah.
but they're also releasing an album and
Yeah.
they're calling, and in parentheses, our Instagram, our email, our so many things have been Mother Mary Music.
Yep.
It's in parentheses, they're releasing this with Anne Hathaway. Mother Mary Music Greatest Hits. Trademark confusion. It's like
yeah, yeah.
you can't say that there's not going to be confusion because there already has been trademark
Confusion.
There's journalists who have they're obviously getting paid to promote the movie.
Sure.
And to promote the trailer, and they're tagging us on accident in their posts. And it's like,
Yeah.
I have documented this throughout the
Yeah.
process. And so it's just, I think the truth is, and I want to say this because I think, we're tongue in cheek, and I think not everyone gets this, but I don't want to sue them. It's a joke to get attention. It's a hook, and it's silly, but it is true. Like, we did have, multiple firms reach out to us who were like, hey, we're noticing this thing and this could be confusing, and can we talk to you about this? And everyone advised, they're like, yeah, like trademark stuff is tricky, but it's like, I just thought that was silly,
actually,
to do.
That's confusing and could hurt, like, because people are they're possibly gonna think that that's us, and that's
our greatest hits. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, and it hurts both of you. It would hurt
does.
both of you. I mean, it hurts you guys as an indie band, and where it's, people are associating you with the film. And so now you then have to go back and be like, no, we're not associated with the film. We'd love to be, but we're not. and then it hurts the
That's like a
film.
sad thing, yeah.
And then it hurts the film
They could've
because they're
had-
trying to market themselves, and instead the marketing gets pushed to you. Or you're trying to
Yeah.
market yourselves and it gets pushed to the movie. Like it hurts you both in both retrospects. And so
Yeah.
I really wish they'd taken that opportunity to like collab with you and be like, you know
It would have
what?
been
That
so
would've been
cool.
cool.
Like
That would've been
you know,
so
their whole
great to
thing
be
is
like,
they
you know
love-
what?
we love supporting small artists and we love working
Yeah.
with artists. And
Let's
blah, blah,
throw
blah.
you
It's
on the
like, well,
album.
you
Let's
knew
throw you on the
about it.
soundtrack.
There's
Something.
no- yeah. You know, it would have been like I've loved A24, and I always thought
Oh, yeah.
that I was like naive and thinking, oh, like, you know, if
Mhm.
they had an opportunity to work with small artists, they would. And it's, I don't know, it's just
And they
like
did.
another kind of fuck you, because like there was only two options I can imagine. Like, been on a label that's very well known. We've been written up in the Fader, same as them, and Pitchfork, and, you know, huge publications. Like, we're not unknown.
You also did what, a
we are
Versace
indie, but we're
commercial?
not on-
Was it
Yeah,
Versace?
Yeah,
we've
Yeah.
done a Versace commercial
Yeah.
with Bella Hadid.
I told you I
We've
did
been
my
in
research. Yeah, y'all just did
Yeah, we've been in
Versace. Like
6 or
it's not like
7
you're not known.
TV shows. Yeah, no, we've been on, you know, many things. So it's like, okay, you definitely knew. And like you said,
Yeah.
it's weird that they're releasing a song called Burial. And it's
Yep.
like, it does feel like, it's like, oh, okay, is that messaging? I don't know. It's like, not to be conspiratorial, but I'm like,
Right.
are
But
you
like, did you
saying
name
you're
it
trying
this
to
on
bury us?
purpose?
You're burying, yeah, I'm like, you're
Are you
going to bury us in the
burying us?
SEO.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
look, like, if for so long, if you Google, if you type in Mother Mary music, Mother Mary
You get
band,
you.
Mother Mary, you get us, number one.
Yep.
It's gonna,
Yep.
they're a huge thing. They're gonna be in all the publications. They're gonna be everything. They're gonna probably skip us out. You know, likely
Mhm.
their stuff is gonna be first, the suggested thing, and we're gonna
Mhm.
get lost. And that is like, that does affect our business. And I also don't, and you know, I don't want to be associated with this film.
You know, like FK Twigs is like my favorite artist. Like her and Charlie.
Yeah.
It's like making. It's like it's almost like someone like
your
threw the
heroes,
party.
like, yeah, through a
Yeah.
party and
Yeah.
forgot to invite you, and they're
And
like,
they didn't
they're like,
invite
you're
Yeah, it-
included.
You're like,
because
but I
that
want to
party-
be at the
that-
party
About
too, and
You're
you.
not there.
Yeah, it's so obvious that like the movie is not embodied. It's like already you know, you watch the previews, you like read about it, and it's like
Mhm.
there's no one in like this movie that is really embodying this idea
Mhm.
of like Mother
Right.
Mary. They're just like, this will get attention,
No.
this is controversial.
Yeah.
But no one's really experienced, Anne Hathaway hasn't like, she's not really the person
No.
that I would personally cast as like an edgy person who's like
Mm-mm.
pushing against religious
Right.
stereotypes and standards, and who's
Oppression,
gonna risk like, you know,
No, I think it's more of an aesthetic than anything.
yeah, it's just an aesthetic.
It's just an
Exactly.
aesthetic.
They're just like, oh,
Yeah,
this is a
it's just
sexy
aesthetic.
This will sell. But no one's really like,
Yeah.
no one's in the religious deconstruction movement who's a part of this. No one
No.
here is like really
No.
speaking out about like how religions harm people and how the
Right.
imagery, just like how the religious imagery of a white Jesus is harmful, how the religious imagery of Mother Mary, as we know her, is
Mhm.
harmful. How that imagery
Right.
of a virgin saint woman who's, you know, child impregnated by a fucking predator,
Ghost?
like you said. Yeah, like fucking predator.
A
goes
ghost
into the sky.
predator.
How that's actually really harmful and what happens. And they're just like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, it's what would be sexy and hot, and like we'll just
An
make this like,
edgy,
you know,
yeah.
edgy.
We'll
pop
just make it
culture,
edgy.
like thing, and we'll just
Oh, and then we're gonna make it
sapphic.
sapphic on top of that. We're gonna make it
And it's
this.
gay, guys. We're adding
Yeah.
everything. We're gonna, it's gay. Like,
Yeah,
you
we're
know,
gonna add everything.
Anne
We're gonna throw
Hathaway's not
every.
queer. Like, she's
No.
never came out. She's never came out as
No,
so it's like,
and
we
then
have
it's like-
opportunities to cast real people who are actually queer. Like, I mean, obviously, I love Michaela Cole.
Or people
like,
who actually have gone through the
amazing
religious
person,
deconstruction and
but-
understand that. Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
to me,
like,
it just
but-
feels like this whole, like, I know for you guys, it probably feels like just a fetishization of
Yeah.
religious imagery, which that's been done 20,000 times. And then for me, as a queer woman, it just feels like, again, just fetishization of sapphic relationships and
yeah.
that struggle,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
which to me, I'm sitting here going, you realize the opportunity you missed out on to have somebody, like you said, that's embodying the religious deconstruction, but then maybe also fighting their own queerness, right?
Yeah.
And
I mean,
actually
we're both
have somebody
queer.
that's going,
We're both
Yeah,
queer,
let's-
we're both
Not,
left a cult. Like, I'm like, we're
yeah,
already
like
experiencing
this
you're doing,
personally.
like,
you're already doing the
Yeah.
thing, and so
Just
it's this weird thing where it feels like a fetishization of it for the purposes of aesthetics and making money, and then on top of it, for you guys, this is your life. Like this is this is an embodiment of what you guys have been through. Yeah. Well, not only that, but you're telling your stories through your music too.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, it's cathartic. It's a therapy. You're working through your own. You really do put your own blood, sweat, and tears into your music and your lyrics and what you write. This is all of you being put to the forefront, allegedly, for this big studio to come through and just be like, "Oh, look, this is really sexy. This would really sell." But there's no substance. There's no
substance.
and to there's no substance, and there's no danger in it either. There's no cost. There's no, well, what are Anne Hathaway as this Mother Mary, whatever person, what is she sacrificing for her music? What is she putting out of herself? What is she giving up of herself? What is she giving to her fans as part of that music, right? Which is something that you guys could answer in spades. We could sit here and talk about that all day long. And it just feels like a slap in the face to those of us that have gone through the religious deconstruction, who are doing the work for you, that have done the work. It feels like a slap in the face it feels like queer baiting as well.
it is.
And I don't like that. There's a lot that goes into like religious deconstruction and fighting your own queerness and coming to terms with your own queerness. And it's not something that is just like, oh, look, it's sexy. Let's put Anne Hathaway on this and just sell a bunch of tickets. It's fine.
It's like we expect it at this point with Hollywood, but it is always, it's always disappointing. And it was really fucking shocking. And honestly, like, I felt like, did I wake up in an alternate universe? I was like, whoa, like, just like that whoosh moment where I was like, wait. I was just like, I was like researching, I'm like, wait, like this can't, like, they're going to change the name. They're going to figure it out,
They're going to figure it out. No. No,
yeah, and
they're not.
And we were like, let's contact them. Like, maybe there's something, like, we can work out. Like, we emailed every possible email with in any person involved in the movie and PR, and like, we DM'd people and nothing. We didn't get a single thing back. The only thing we've ever got from them is a intimidating letter from their lawyers, like after we got that viral video. So support artists who are building communities and are putting their genuine life stories out there,
Yeah.
And it just feels like such a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
And I want to say, like, for many reasons, legal reasons, everything, like, we do not want to harm the movie.
Oh, no. Nope. We hope the movie does wonderful. We wish them the best.
Great. I wish them all the best. I love Michaela Cole. I just have to say that she's
Yeah.
a fucking genius.
I love FK.
Oh, yeah.
I love FK Twigs. I love Charlie XCX. I just feel hurt, and I just hope that so we don't get lost.
I feel sad.
That people.
I just feel sad.
Yeah, we'll check us out.
Yeah.
We'll like support your local indie artist.
And this is the last question I have, because I've kept y'all so long. If your younger selves could listen to your music, what do you think they'd feel?
Oh,
I know that's a deep one.
I mean, proud. I feel like,
so proud,
I think.
Oh, yeah.
Shocked. I think I would go through just utter shock. It would feel too good to be true, honestly.
Yeah.
And
literally dream upon dream.
Yeah.
I would like my little me. I think I really can sound like I little me would totally fuck with it and.
Oh yeah.
We'd love, I know my little we would love it.
I'd be inspired. I think.
And be like, oh my god, you're so badass! I can't wait to be you when I grow up.
You did it. You did it.
You did it, kid.
You did it. You did the hard thing, and you're okay. Your life is not destroyed. You're actually happier and
you're okay.
Embodied, and you're yourself. You're really yourself. Like, that's what I think I would feel.
You're free.
So much.
Yeah.